If you're over 60, your gut isn't as resilient as it used to be. The lining thins, digestive enzymes slow down, and the bacteria inside your body, the ones that regulate everything from inflammation to memory, become more vulnerable to what you eat and even how you store your food. You probably already know to be careful about reheating leftovers the wrong way. But there's something even more overlooked. What happens when you store certain meals in the fridge? It turns out some meals become harmful not when you eat them and not when you reheat them, but during the hours they sit in your fridge. That's right, your refrigerator, the place you trust to keep food safe, might be slowly damaging your gut if you store these 3 common meals the wrong way. We're going to walk through each one. You'll learn what the problem is, why it matters more after 60, and what to do instead to protect your digestion, energy, and immune system. Let's start with the first one, and it's something almost everyone makes in bulk and stores for days at a time. Rice seems harmless. It's soft, bland, and easy to digest, right? Not always. When cooked rice is stored in the fridge, it becomes a breeding ground for a bacteria called Bacillus cereus. This bacteria creates spores that survive cooking, and once the rice cools, they can multiply fast. The problem? These spores produce toxins that are resistant to heat, so even if you reheat the rice the next day, the toxins may still be there, and they can trigger nausea, cramps, gas, and diarrhea.
For seniors with slower digestion or weaker gut linings, even low-level exposure to certain bacteria can cause days of discomfort, or worse, disrupt the balance of gut bacteria, weakening the immune system over time. The damage is often subtle, which is why most people never connect bloating or fatigue to something they ate 2 days prior. Want to avoid it? If you're making rice, serve it fresh. If you do store leftovers, cool them quickly, store them in shallow containers, and eat them within 24 hours. No exceptions. After that, toss it. Let's talk about chicken. A go-to protein for many seniors, chicken is lean, affordable, and versatile. But cooked chicken is highly sensitive to time and temperature, especially after refrigeration. It's rich in protein and moisture, 2 things bacteria love. Even when refrigerated, it can become a breeding ground for dangerous bacteria like Listeria monocytogenes and Clostridium perfringens. Listeria is especially problematic for seniors because it can grow even in the fridge. Unlike other bacteria, it doesn't need warmth to multiply. Just a few contaminated bites could lead to severe stomach cramps, nausea, or infection, especially if you take medications that suppress your immune system or slow digestion. You might be thinking, but I reheat it before I eat it. Isn't that enough? Not always. Reheating may kill some bacteria, but it doesn't undo the gut damage triggered by bacterial toxins or slow-forming spoilage. And let's be honest, most people don't reheat chicken all the way through. They warm it just enough, and that's where problems begin. Cold spots inside the meat, especially near the bone or in thick breast cuts, can harbor bacteria even after microwaving. Another issue? The structure of chicken changes after refrigeration. Proteins harden and break down, making reheated chicken dry, rubbery, and harder to digest. For seniors, that often means bloating, stomach upset, or fatigue. So what should you do? Eat chicken fresh whenever possible. If you must store it, cool it fast, slice it thin, and reheat it thoroughly the next day. Stick to the 24-hour rule. The longer it sits, the greater the risk. Don't store chicken in bulk or stack it deep. Use shallow glass containers to allow for faster cooling and more even reheating. And always smell it before eating. If it smells even slightly off, throw it out. Your gut health isn't worth saving a leftover piece of meat. Now let's move on to one final comfort food that turns harmful when cold. Soup and stew. These are go-to meals for many seniors. They're warm, comforting, and seem gentle. But if you're over 60, storing soup in the fridge can lead to gut trouble you never saw coming. Soups and stews with both animal protein and starch, like beef and potatoes, chicken and rice, or lentil sausage, become unstable over time. The mixture of fat, protein, and complex carbs creates an ideal environment for bacterial fermentation, especially if cooled unevenly. Over time, fats separate, starches gelatinize, and proteins break down into amines, which can cause gas, bloating, and inflammation. If your gut lining is already thin or your microbiome is out of balance, These changes can lead to abdominal discomfort, irregular bowel movements, and long-lasting irritation. And most seniors don't feel symptoms right away. Your body may seem off for days, but it's hard to trace it back to a bowl of soup from 3 nights ago. Another issue? Cooling. People often store large soup batches in deep containers, but the middle stays warm for hours, creating a hotbed for bacteria, especially in soups with dairy, meat, or grains. Even if the outside is cold, the inside may still be in the danger zone between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Just like rice and chicken, reheating doesn't fix this. Bacterial toxins formed during storage are heat-resistant, and the food becomes harder to digest after the second or third day. The fix: cool soup quickly and divide it into small, shallow containers. Freeze portions you won't eat within 24 hours. Don't store soup in deep plastic bowls or leave it in the pot you cooked it in. And if your soup has rice, pasta, or potatoes, aim to eat it the same day. They break down fast and feed bacteria more aggressively than most people realize. So, why are seniors more vulnerable to these effects? Because storing food improperly is only part of the problem. The bigger issue is how your body reacts. After 60, your digestive system changes. You may notice foods that once sat fine now leave you bloated or exhausted. That's not just aging. It's your body adapting in ways that aren't always helpful. First, stomach acid production drops, making it harder to break down proteins like chicken and beef. Undigested food lingers in the stomach, leading to bloating, reflux, and gas once it reaches the intestines. Enzyme levels also decline. Enzymes are needed to digest carbs, fats, and proteins. Without them, meals like soup with meat and potatoes don't break down properly. They ferment, creating gas and feeding harmful bacteria. This crowding out of good bacteria can weaken immunity, brain function, and metabolism. A thinner gut lining means toxins from poorly stored food can pass into your bloodstream, causing a condition called leaky gut. Inflammation starts in the gut but doesn't stay there. It can lead to joint pain, fatigue, brain fog, or even worse in autoimmune or skin issues. That's why these improperly stored meals hit seniors harder than younger adults. Think about that bowl of soup that made you sleepy for 2 days. Or the chicken and rice that gave you strange cramps. The bloating that came out of nowhere and lasted all night. You might assume it's aging, but it's more often your leftovers silently fermenting in the fridge. The good news? You don't have to give up comfort food or meal prepping. You just need to handle food properly to protect your gut and make digestion smoother. Coming up next, we'll go over how to store food safely, what containers to use, how long to keep food, and which habits seniors need to stop right now. This is where real gut saving happens, because the damage doesn't come from the food, it comes from how it's stored. Most seniors were taught to toss leftovers into any container, stick it in the fridge, and reheat later. But that routine is slowly, quietly harming your gut. Let's talk about the 4 biggest mistakes seniors make with food storage, and how to fix them. Mistake number 1, using deep plastic containers. Plastic doesn't cool evenly. It traps heat longer, especially in deep containers. When you store a big batch of soup, rice, or meat in one of these, the center can stay warm for hours, long enough for bacteria to multiply before the fridge even has a chance to chill it. The fix? Use shallow glass containers. Spread food into a thin layer, no more than 2 inches deep. This lets heat escape quickly and helps your fridge bring it to a safe temperature fast. Mistake number 2, waiting too long to refrigerate food. Many people still believe you have to wait for food to cool to room temperature before storing it. That's outdated and dangerous. The longer food sits out, the more bacteria can grow, especially with rice, meat, or stews. In warm kitchens, that window gets even shorter. The fix? Let food cool for about 20 to 30 minutes, then refrigerate it. If you're prepping a big batch, use a cold water bath around the container to speed up the cooling process. Mistake number 3, storing mixed meals too long. Meals like chicken and rice, beef stew, or creamy soup break down faster when combined. Starches start to ferment, proteins separate, and the combination becomes harder for your gut to handle, especially after 48 hours. The fix? Store components separately when possible. Keep cooked rice, meat, and vegetables in different containers. If they are combined, eat them within 24 hours or freeze them immediately after cooling. Mistake number 4. Reheating the same food more than once. Each time you reheat and cool a meal, its structure breaks down a little more. It gets harder to digest and exposes you to more bacterial byproducts. The fix? Only reheat what you plan to eat right away. Don't keep pulling the same container in and out of the fridge for several days. That habit wears down your gut and your immune system. These may seem like small tweaks, but they make a big difference, especially if you're over 60. They can mean the difference between easy digestion and a week of discomfort. Now, let's talk about the symptoms that often go unnoticed. The signs your gut is being affected by poor food storage are usually subtle and easy to mistake for general aging, but your body sends warnings if you know where to look. So, how do you know if your gut is already being affected? The signs often fly under the radar, especially for seniors who chalk up changes to just getting older. But your body is always sending signals, and once you start paying attention, the patterns become clear. One of the most common signs is frequent bloating or gas after meals. If your stomach swells or feels tight 30 to 60 minutes after eating leftovers, that's not just fullness. It could be your gut reacting to fermented compounds or unstable food structures. That bloating is usually caused by digestive stress or a disrupted bacterial balance, not just what you ate in that moment. Another red flag is irregular bowel movements. If you're suddenly more constipated, more loose, or flip-flopping between the two, your gut flora might be out of sync. Improperly stored meals, especially those combining starch and protein, can feed harmful bacteria and throw your digestion out of rhythm. Then there's the food coma feeling. If you feel wiped out, foggy, or like you need a nap after lunch, that could be your immune system reacting. When your body senses spoiled or unstable compounds in your food, it diverts energy to deal with the problem, leaving you drained. It's a low-grade inflammatory response, and it adds up over time. You might also develop new sensitivities to foods you've eaten your whole life. Rice, chicken, or even soup might suddenly make you feel off. Don't automatically blame the ingredient. It might not be the food, but how long it sat in your fridge or how many times it was reheated. Another often ignored symptom is chronic belching, indigestion, or mild nausea. These are signs of gas buildup and poor protein breakdown, often caused by low stomach acid, weak enzymes, and spoiled leftovers your system is struggling to process. And finally, one of the most overlooked clues: a weakened immune system. If you're catching more colds, taking longer to recover, or feeling run down more often, your gut may be inflamed. Over 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. If that barrier is under stress, everything else, from your joints to your brain, can feel it. The tricky part: these symptoms don't always show up right after a meal. They might come hours or even days later, which makes the connection harder to trace. But once you do trace it back, everything starts to make sense. And even better, the solution isn't complicated. You don't have to give up meal prepping or comfort food. You just need to handle those foods smarter. And if your gut's already taken a hit, you can still heal it naturally. If your gut has been feeling off, whether it's bloating, sluggish digestion, or food fatigue, the good news is it can recover. Your digestive system is more resilient than you think, even after age 60. But to rebuild gut health, you need to take the pressure off and give it the right kind of support. Start with warm, simple meals. Instead of piling your plate with 3 or 4 dense ingredients, keep it gentle and easy to digest. Think soft veggie mash with steamed salmon, or scrambled eggs with sautéed spinach. Stick to combinations that are low in fat, high in fiber, and easy on the gut. Cooked vegetables, light proteins, and a little healthy fat like avocado or olive oil are ideal. Warm meals relax the gut lining and help enzymes work better, especially helpful if you've been dealing with digestive distress. Next, feed the good bacteria in your gut with natural probiotics and prebiotics. You don't need expensive supplements, just simple fermented and fibrous foods. A spoonful of plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt, a tablespoon or two of sauerkraut or kimchi, cooked garlic and onions, even stewed apples with cinnamon. These not only support the gut lining, but gently repopulate your microbiome with the right bacteria to reduce inflammation and improve digestion. Hydration also plays a major role in recovery, but not just any fluid. Skip cold drinks, which can tighten your digestive tract. Instead, sip warm water, bone broth, or herbal teas throughout the day. Ginger, peppermint, and chamomile teas are especially helpful for easing cramping and bloating. Warm fluids keep things moving and help your body absorb nutrients more efficiently. Then, give your gut time to rest. One of the simplest and most effective gut healing habits is a 12-hour overnight fast. If you finish dinner at 6:30 p.m., don't eat again until 6:30 a.m. This gives your digestive system a chance to clean out old bacteria, reset enzyme levels, and reduce inflammation. You can still sip tea or water, but avoid snacks or late-night bites. And perhaps most important, stop eating leftover trigger foods for a few days. Give your gut a full break from stored rice, chicken, or soup until your symptoms improve. Focus instead on fresh meals, gentle vegetables, and low-acid fruits. Once you feel better, you can slowly reintroduce leftovers, but only when stored and reheated the right way, using the tips we covered. Even if you've been dealing with gut discomfort for years, these simple changes can bring noticeable relief in just a few days. Many seniors report feeling lighter, less bloated, and more energetic once they shift their food habits. The key isn't perfection, it's consistency. Let's take everything we've covered and turn it into something easy you can actually follow. A simple, gut-safe daily routine designed for seniors. Start your morning with something warm and gentle. Scrambled eggs with cooked spinach or zucchini is a great option. Add half an avocado or a spoonful of plain yogurt for healthy fat and digestion support. Skip the cold juice or sugary fruit bowls. Instead, sip on warm tea like ginger or chamomile to calm your stomach and set a steady tone for the day. At lunch, go for a freshly cooked protein like grilled salmon or turkey, not leftovers from 3 days ago. Pair it with roasted carrots or sweet potatoes. If you want fruit, stick to fresh or lightly stewed options like apples or blueberries. Avoid reheating chicken and rice from a plastic container that's been sitting in the fridge since Monday. That's not a meal, that's a gut gamble. In the afternoon, keep snacks light and healing. A spoonful of kefir, a little sauerkraut, or some soft papaya can support your gut lining. Sip on lemon water or bone broth to replenish minerals and soothe digestion. Skip cold snacks, dried fruit, or granola bars that spike blood sugar and throw off digestion without warning. For dinner, make something light and fresh. Ground beef, lentils, mashed cauliflower, or steamed green beans all work well. You can season them, but avoid heavy sauces or reheating that soup you made 3 nights ago. It might look okay, but your gut knows better. Then comes the part most people skip. Rest. After dinner, give your gut a full 12 hours off. If you eat at 6:30 p.m., don't eat again until 6:30 a.m. You can drink tea or water, but avoid snacks. That nightly break gives your digestive system time to repair, reset, and reduce inflammation. And when it comes to leftovers, remember the golden rule. If it's been sitting for more than 24 hours and it contains meat, rice, or anything creamy, toss it. Your gut isn't what it used to be, and no leftover is worth 2 days of bloating, fatigue, or imbalance. In the end, gut health isn't about perfection. It's about building a routine that works with your body, not against it. Cool food fast. Use shallow glass containers. Label dates. Reheat once. Eat fresh when possible. These simple shifts can make your gut feel more stable, more regular, and more energized, faster than you'd think. So, if this helped, hit that like button and subscribe. We post daily videos just like this one, packed with simple, powerful tips to help you live stronger, longer, and with a gut that finally works for you, not against you. Because it's never too late to feel good again.